Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Hello and welcome to a pint-sized preview sponsored by Magic Rock Brewing on Huddersfield's opponents this season. And in this episode, we'll focus on Coventry City. To help us with some sky blue thinking, oh, that's terrible pun, Matt. We've got the skinny from Sky Blue Fans TV.
Hi, my name's Glenn. I'm part of the Sky Blues Fans TV podcast team. I've been asked to give my thoughts on Coventry City's upcoming championship season and the transfer dealings in and out of the club. It's been relatively quiet transfer window so far for Cov. A lot of the fringe players have been moved on. We've seen Julian DaCosta, Jordan Shipley, Jody Jones all move out of the club. The first two have joined Shrewsbury Town. We've had a few incoming signings. Casey Palmer's joined from Bristol City on an undisclosed fee. He looks quite promising and the coaching staff have spoke quite highly of him. We've also lost Ian Matson and Jake Clark-Salter, who both returned to Chelsea after their loan spells ended, both of which have moved on to new clubs. Clark-Salter's obviously joined QPR and Matson has gone back out on loan and joined Burnley. The other two signings have happened this week, which is Forest defender Jonathan Panzo, who's come in, who scored twice on his debut. He looks quite a good prospect, good on the ball, got a bit of pace, good in the air. And Callum Doyle, who's joined on loan from Man City, who, alongside Panzo, is left-footed. We struggled with left-sided centre-halves. And they're both good on the ball and got a bit of pace about them, which we did get sucker-punched on the counter-attack a bit last season. The main concern at the moment is obviously what's going to happen with our big three. Callum O'Hare has been subject to various inquiries and alleged bids from Burnley, and Vincent Kompany seems to be very keen on getting him on board. The concern is obviously if we lose O'Hare, what we will do with the money and will we be as good a side without him? He's pretty much the heartbeat of our team and makes us tick. We've managed to stave off any interest in Gustavo Hamer and Victor Gyökeres, which is a massive positive. There's rumours that we'll be getting another, possibly one or two signings. There's a Palace Irish left wing back, Tayo Adoramelo. I've probably butchered his name. He's currently on pre-season tour with Palace. Pacey, good on the ball, but needs a bit of work. Rough diamond, so very similar to Matson. I think he'll be a good recruit for us to bring in, and hopefully there'll be one more signing. I personally would be happy if we only just sign loans for the rest of the window. I think the big thing is keeping the big three in on board for us, and that pretty much strengthens us. And I don't think we'll be in a worse position than we were last season, because we've got some quite promising youngsters coming through. Our under-23s team won the under-23s league, beating Bristol City, and we've got likes of Fabio Tavares, Ryan Howley to come in, and they've had a bit of a taste of first team football, but they look quite promising moving forward. I think success, Mark Robbins' success is deemed as getting to 50 points and staying up. I think fans would accept anything above a 12th place finish. I think if we have a bit of luck and don't have many injuries and keep players fit, and we get off to a good start, I think we could be pushing for the playoffs.
Thanks a lot for that. So, Coventry. Coventry are a really admirable club, I think, in a lot of ways. I think if you look at the way they've done their business over the last few seasons, and if you look at what they've made this sort of almost absolute maximum of their resources. And I think they're almost a bit of a model other clubs could do far worse than to follow. I think they have a real strong core of players like sort of, Hyam and Bukfatian and O'Hare, who I know is linked with move away, but at the moment, as we're recording this, is still there, and Liam Kelly and various others. And they also have a very good second string of players like Jamie Allen, who don't play every week, but come in and are always pretty impressive. Their recruitment, I don't think, is done yet, but like bringing in Callum Doyle and Jonathan Panzo, I think are two very good additions defensively, potentially. I think if they lose O'Hare, they have to replace him. But at the same time, they've still got one or two quite impressive players there who could step up as well. Casey Palmer is an interesting one because he's a player who was flattered to deceive an awful lot, but at some point we all know he's sort of semi-threatened to do something. Could Coventry be the club where he kicks on a bit? So it's quite they're an interesting club. They're an admirable club, and it wouldn't surprise me at all to see them basically do exactly what they did last season, which is give a lot of very good teams a very difficult game, be in that mix for the top 8, probably come up a little bit short because I think I love Gyökeres, obviously. I think Matt Gunn's very good. I think Tyler Walker's an interesting player, but I think they do lack just a few goals. The only caveat to the whole thing I'm going to make is there's talk of them losing O'Hare. There's also a little bit of talk of them losing Hamer. If they lose Hamer and O'Hare in one window, that's a huge issue for them. So, but if one or both are still there come the start of the season, I suspect they'll be absolutely fine this year, and it's upper mid-table brushing with that top 8 shake-up again for them. Matt?
Yeah, I agree with that. My notes on it pretty much say keep the likes of Hamer, Gyökeres and O'Hare, and they're pushing top 8, top 10, top 8. If they don't, then it'll be a step back and they've got to replace them, and it just depends who they get and who's available, doesn't it? So, again, Pitfalls are doing this on the 20th of July. I have a feeling they're going to lose one or two players, and if they do, then that might just impact them a little bit. I'm not entirely sure that the Coventry owners are ones that will give Mark Robbins 100% of what comes in to spend on somebody to replace, a key player. So I don't think they're that type of club, are they? So it'll be interesting to see how they do to the window, but I'm going to say top 10, but caveat that with it could drop off if they lose 2 or 3 key players.
Brady?
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with what you guys say. I think Dave, you spot on. Coventry are an excellent model that I think a lot of clubs would like to follow. I know Mark Robbins didn't work out of town, but he's been absolutely fantastic at Coventry. When we speak to Coventry fans for the warm-up and the previews, they just can't talk highly enough about the work he's done. Like you say, depending on O'Hare and Hamer, if they both went, I think that would dent their chances. But at the time of recording and looking at the business, I think Callum Doyle is an excellent pickup. He's really impressed me every time I've seen him. And Jonathan Panzo, again, a young, highly rated defender. It's hard to see them not being in the top 10. I just think they're one of those teams that is difficult to beat. They're well run. They've got a good manager. They seem, like you say, you touched on just the players that catch the eye, but just the solid players they have in the squad who all contribute. I've got them down as top 10, but I think you're spot on. I wouldn't be surprised if they're flirting with the playoffs for quite a lot of the campaign.
Tom?
Yeah, I think I'd echo most of that. I just think if they really wanted to push on, they were maybe just short of kind of just one been there, done it, a bit of experience coming in, and maybe if they can get that done before the end of the window, and keep those some of those key players, then I think they might get in that top 6 this season.
That was Coventry then, who we all feel are going to have an okay season. Thanks for joining us on these Pint-Side previews, sponsored by Magic Rock.